Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, folks. So I'm going to be doing two videos. This video about an inexperienced armor on the set, or on Baldwin's set, raised alarm bells on prior film, and a video later today on possible legal problems for Alec Baldwin and others. So yeah, let's get into it. First off, filming was briefly halted on the set of 20-year-old Hannah Gutierrez Reed's last movie after she allegedly gave a gun to an 11-year-old without checking it properly. She's the armorer, by the way. So, there were previous concerns raised about 24-year-old armorer who was hired on Alec Baldwin's film Rust, with two production sources telling the Daily Beast that filming on the set of her last movie was briefly stopped after she allegedly gave a gun to an 11-year-old actress without checking it properly. She was a bit careless with the guns, waving it around every now and again, and said a source who worked alongside armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed on the upcoming Nicolas Cage film The Old Way. There were a couple of times where she was loading the blanks and doing it in a fashion that we thought was unsafe. Gutierrez Reed was identified in a Santa Fe Sheriff Office search warrant affidavit as the armorer on set when Baldwin was given the prop gun he believed was safe. Baldwin discharged a gun and fatally struck Helena Hutchinson and injured 48-year-old director Joel Souza. No charges have been brought, but the sheriff's office investigation is ongoing. Sources on the Rust set have insisted the fatal accident was a result of failings from top to bottom, starting with the production's low budget and cost-cutting measures. Wow. Gutierrez Reed was described as being inexperienced and green by a Rust production source who told the Daily Beast that there were at least two previous incidents of guns being accidentally discharged by other crew members before Thursday's tragic incident. According to Actors Equity Association guidelines, guns should be test fired off stage before each use. All loading of firearms must be done by the prop master or property master, armorer, or experienced persons working under their direct supervision, the association advises. Two Rust production sources who have both worked in the industry for decades, claim that Assistant Director Dave Halls, who was named in the search warrant affidavit as the person who handed the gun to Baldwin and said it was safe, should also have checked the weapons. He's also the assistant director, for crying out loud. He's supposed to be our last line of defense, and he failed us, the first source said. He's the last person that's supposed to look at the firearm. According to the affidavit, Gutierrez placed 3 prop guns on a cart outside where the scene was being filmed. Before Halls grabbed a revolver from the cart and gave it to Baldwin, he called out cold gun on set, according to the affidavit. The second production source told Daily Beast that the first assistant director should be personally verifying whether a gun is hot or cold. Cold gun indicates there are no cartridges, including blanks, inside the firearm. A hot gun indicates the weapon is loaded with cartridges, either live or blank rounds. This check alone should have prevented this incident, the person said. In a heartbreaking 911 call, script supervisor Mamie Mitchell also seems to reference Hall as she urgently asks a dispatcher to send an ambulance to the set on Bonanza Creek Ranch on the outskirts of Santa Fe. Mitchell can be overheard telling someone nearby this is direct quotes, folks, this fucking AD that yelled at me at lunch asking about revisions, this motherfucker. Did you see him lean over my desk and yell at me? He's supposed to check the guns. He's responsible for what happened. That's the quote. The allegations of Rust crew members appear to mirror allegations of two production sources who worked with Gutierrez Reed on The Old Way, where she was hired as head armorer. Gutierrez Reed did not respond to Daily Beast's request for comment. On Saturday, the Daily Beast also reached out to Rust's Movie Productions LLC and Halls for comment. In a statement to the New York Times, the company said it had not been made aware of any official complaints concerning weapon or prop safety on set, noting it would be conducting an internal review and cooperating with law enforcement. That's interesting. A relative newcomer to being an armorer, Gutierrez Reed was trained by her father and a Hollywood veteran firearms consultant, Thel Reed. The Old Way was the first time Gutierrez Reed had worked as head armorer, admitting on the Voices of the West podcast that she nearly didn't take the position because she wasn't sure she was ready and thought loading blank rounds into firearms was the scariest thing. But doing it, she said, it went really smoothly. However, that is not how production sources of The Old Way describe their experiences working with Gutierrez Reed. I've been around firearms my entire life and noticed some things that were not okay, even with loaded blank firearms. Another source said, compared to other sets they have been on, there was considerably less attention to gun safety under Gutierrez Reed's watch. The most troubling incident occurred with Gutierrez Reed allegedly loading a gun on the ground where the area was filled with pebbles, then without properly checking the weapon, handed it to child actress Ryan Kira Armstrong. Both sources told the Daily Beast. So, concerned crew members intervened, demanding filming be stopped until Gutierrez had properly checked the firearm, the two sources says. She was reloading the gun on the ground where there were pebbles and stuff. We didn't see her check it. We didn't know if something gotten in the barrel or not, one source said, explaining the crew waited until she double-checked the firearm's barrel for barrel obstruction. Detectives are still investigating the circumstances that led to the tragic accident. However, in the days leading up to it, there was trouble brewing on the set of Rust. There were multiple complaints made to production, with at least 6 fed-up crew members reportedly walking off set hours before Baldwin was handed the prop gun. The production source said the crew members had complained directly to Halls about the previous accidental gun discharges over the weekend, demanding to make sure they were documented. All of us yelled at him. That better be on the production report. These guys are irresponsible and shouldn't be here. The source explained, that should be automatic grounds for termination on a union film set. You should be gone. The first time that gun went off without telling anybody, that whole department should have been replaced immediately. Clearly, production thought better of it, decided to roll the dice and pay the ultimate price. Sources have maintained that the film's production company would do anything to save money. For example, they promised to put the crew up in a hotel in Santa Fe to be close to set. However, when filming began, the crew were allegedly told there would be no such accommodation, and instead they would have to travel from Albuquerque, around 50 miles away. Many voiced concern about working up to 13 hours a day, then driving an hour home in the dark, the Los Angeles Times reported. Others were also annoyed by the shooting schedule of Wednesday through Sunday, which had been tailored to Baldwin's schedule so that he could tape for his podcast, Here's the Thing with Alec Baldwin, which airs on Mondays. While Gutierrez Reed had not commented on the tragedy, prop gun experts told the Daily Beast the armorer is usually ultimately responsible for the weapons on set. It's up to that armor company to prepare the firearms a day or two before and test fire them, making sure everything's okay and the blank rounds are okay, said Richard Howell, of Foxtrot Productions, a film armorer with 30 years of experience. In film and TV, it's a very controlled environment. You have to do risk assessments. On Friday morning, Baldwin expressed his condolences to the Hutchinson family, including her husband and 9-year-old son, attending a private memorial in her honor later that night, according to Showbiz 411. He also backed reports that he was told the prop gun was safe to use, liking an article on Twitter that indicated that he was told it was cold. And then they give off his condolences on Twitter to the family of Helena Hutchinson's. So basically, folks, there is a lot of negligence. They cut corners. They hid incidents where there was accidental discharges and didn't put them on the reports. So yeah, there was incredible negligence on this set when it came to the safety. And I really do hope that, as I said in my last video, heads roll and those who are responsible are held accountable. And stay tuned for later today, where I will be going over the possible legal ramifications for Alec Baldwin and anyone else who was on the set, like Hannah Gutierrez Reed, and the assistant director. So yeah, that's going to be the video, folks. You all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think of this report from the armorer being inexperienced and cutting corners and doing all sorts of unsafe shit? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below, folks. This has been Orange Hat Reviews. Stay humble.